Chicken heads coming down the dozen.
You saying it was hectic, huh? Was you getting into a lot of fights, or did you stay so low key that you didn't have to?
I almost got into one fight. People really didn't, I mean, I pretty much stayed low key, but I almost got in one fight with one of the baddest dudes at the school.
Uh-huh.
But the teachers, they ended up intervening. I had at the time, I was wearing this Kango hat. My older cousin, who I was staying with, had a Kango hat, and back in the day, like, we take turns wearing it. So towards the end of the school day, it was my turn to wear it. So I'm sporting the Kango, and this dude named Dennis that was whooping everybody's ass. He's like, "Hey, nigga, let me get that Kango." And I was like, "Nah, Dennis, you ain't getting this Kango." He's like, "Nah, nigga, you gonna give me that Kango." And I was like, "It ain't happening." He's like, "Nigga, after class, I'm getting that Kango."
And you gonna eat that cornbread?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, here we go. This dude, Dennis, he wants this Kango. It ain't happening. So after class, I come out the classroom and I come out the classroom, nigga, the circle is already formed. I come out, this is like a big old U shape of people. So I was like, I threw my backpack down, and the teachers, Dennis is in the classroom, the teachers knew what was happening, and I go up I'm like, is this fool gonna come out or what? So I go up to the door, and two teachers is holding this dude, this junior high school student. Two teachers trying to hold this dude, "Man, let me go. They like, "No, Dennis, you need to settle down. So I was like, man, they ain't gonna let this dude come outside. So we all just went on about our business, but I was ready to get down, you know what I mean? But that was about it. Other than that, I just laid low, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That wasn't the school for me to be trying to stand out.
Yeah. No need to.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, it was certain Crips there that didn't want to stand out.
Right. Why make it hard on yourself if you don't have to?
I mean, that school was no joke, bro. I mean, it was like being in the belly of the beast, for real.
So what did you do after that, man? How long did you end up staying with your auntie?
I stayed with her for about a year or two, and then I needed new school clothes. So my aunt was like, "Hey, Chris need new school clothes. He getting tall, like,
right,
and he can't keep wearing, my son's hand-me-downs, so he need new clothes." So my mom was like, "You know what? I'll take them." So she scooped me up, checked me out of school, and moved me over to WestCovina with her. So
okay.
That's when my little journey into WestCovina, where my whole life, like, I went from one world to a whole nother world out this way, to WestCovina, and that was like a whole nother chapter that basically, started my life. Yeah.
For those that don't know, WestCovina, California.
Yeah. 30 minutes out of LA.
Right, 30 minutes from Los Angeles.
The suburbs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. WestCovina.
Yeah. So, yeah, we moved out there, and every Friday I was on the bus going back to LA for like a good year.
So you was going to visit, or you was going back because you was homesick?
I was homesick. Like, I would come straight from the school, go straight to the Eastern Mall off the 10 freeway, hop right on the bus and go straight back to LA, go to my grandmother's house, my aunt's house, and Sunday night, my mom or my aunt will bring me back on Sunday night. But
right.
Every Friday, boom, I was back.
Right. Right.
So yeah. And then, and then I started getting adapted to the new environment, and then, I just started going less and less. So
okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So what was your experience like coming to WestCovina? What took place after you got to WestCovina? Like, what was your experience? You ended up going to school out there, making a way for yourself out there. How did you like WestCovina?
It was a culture shock at first because, when I got to the school campus, the first thing I noticed is there was no big giant gate around the school, and there was no security. And I was just like, and you had like a handful of black people, and I was just like, and the black people didn't look like the black people from LA. So it was just, I feel like I was in the episode of The Twilight Zone, to be honest with you.
So what do you mean they didn't resemble or look like the black folks in Los Angeles?
I mean, I don't want to, some of them are homies, so, some of them kind of look like, Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah. They was kind of looking like that.
Yeah. It's kind of nerdy?
Yeah, they was kind of nerdy, like just trying to fit in with, their environment. You know what I mean? And then when I step on campus, and then it seems like there was like an exodus, like a lot of people moving from LA out all at the same time. It was weird. Like every day, like almost every week, you had somebody new from LA, from Inglewood, from Watts, from, you know, somewhere in LA, somebody new was moving to LA. And so you had these group of black dudes looking at us like, wait a minute, like, hold up, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know, then they start coming around us and they start changing who they are. So it was weird, bro. It really was, you know. And then you get introduced to like skinheads and racism, and man, I'm like, man, this is
because that's not something that you seen in LA.
No.
In Los Angeles, you know, you didn't get to see all that.
Nah, man. I mean, you getting called the N-word by other students. And,
that's part of the culture shock.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, man, it took a while to adapt to all that. And, you know, I'm like, I had to learn what a skinhead was. You know, people was like, you know, if you walking home from football practice, watch out for skinheads. I'm like, what's a skinhead?
Yeah, right.
And they like, you don't know what a skinhead is? I'm like, no. They had to tell me what a skinhead was.
Yeah, you probably had some dudes that were really about that life because they learned that from their parents.
Yeah.
But a lot of them clowns, they were just putting on an act, man. They wasn't tough like that. They wasn't really about that, man. They just, you know, were coming along. They were taught something, and that's what they presented. You know what I mean? But if they really, you know, they were just probably making more noise than anything. If they try to act like they wanted to push a line and you had to, you know, defend yourself or go against what they was trying to do towards you, they would probably back down.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they just made themselves known, you know. I mean, I don't mean to, like, you know, harp on, like, the negative, but after that, you know, it was a whole lot of positive that, you know, it was a lot of good people, too, you know.
Well, I got a lot of partners, man, all races, ethnicities.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's all about a melting pot with me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so there was a lot of cool people, you know what I mean? Like, after you get over the shock part of it, you know, you really start getting to know people, start hanging out with certain people. Like, there's a lot of cool people.
You know, a lot of kids coming up, man, they only know what they've been taught.
Yeah.
And some of them know what they've seen.
Yeah.
And, you know, we are all sponges at the end of the day as we come up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we just have to learn otherwise, you know, as we get older, teenagers, young men, you know, to older adults, we have to, you know, really decipher.